it's Melody Fletcher, and today I'm going to be talking to you about how to fill every day of your life with moment after moment of magic. So if you're interested in that, stay tuned.
So the big question is this: how do we, those of us who feel deep down that we're much more powerful than we've been led to believe, and that there is something to this law of attraction stuff, actually create our own realities? What's the process of simply stepping into the reality of our choice? What about those of us who need this process to make logical, intellectual sense? My name is Melody Fletcher. You've got questions about the technology of reality, and I've got the answers. Welcome to my channel, where the law of attraction finally makes some freaking sense.
All right, so when we're doing this deliberate receiving work, this manifestation work, when we're stepping into our power, we usually start by asking ourselves the big important question of, what is it that I want? What do you want? And when I ask clients what it is that they want, they usually come out with a really big thing. And if it's not a big thing, I challenge them to go bigger. So it's, I want the house, I want the car, I want the once in a lifetime trip to Paris, I want the relationship, I want my own business, I want. And that's not wrong to do that, of course. It's wonderful to do that. And we always want to find that big vision that makes our heart sing. But here's the problem with doing that exclusively. We have few big moments in our lives. We have graduation, we have marriage, our wedding day, we have the birth of your children, you have, when you first step into your new house, you have these really big moments that happen, but they're kind of few and far between. Most of our lives are filled by much smaller moments. We have, cajillions of those. I don't know if you could do the math on that, but cajillions of little tiny moments in your life, and then a few really big important moments. And we do tend to focus on the big vision, on the big important moments that we want. But today I want to talk to you about those little moments that are in between, because there's way more of them, and that's usually what shapes our experience. And the two do go in tandem, because if you're just going for really big moments and you're willing to settle for a crappy or mediocre life in between, you're probably not aligning your energy fully with that wonderful big energy that you think those big moments are going to give you. And just as if you're not willing to focus on those big moments and opening your heart and letting your heart sing about those really big moments, you're probably not fully stepping into your power either. But we do spend a lot of time focusing on the big stuff. Today we want to focus on the little stuff. So this can get a little bit confusing, which is why I wanted to make a video about it. So when was the last time that you intended how your day was going to go? When was the last time that you intended something small? We tend to intend for the really big stuff. I want the house, I want the car, I want to be a movie star. Ooh, that rhymed. Anyway, so when we start to intend into the details, it can get a little bit confusing, because it can feel very quickly like we're intending the how. Right? How it's going to come about. We don't really want to do that. We don't want to intend the how. So how can you tell the difference between intending small moments and intending the how? Yeah, how something has to come about. So let me give you a great analogy. When it comes to parking spaces, manifesting parking spaces, most of us are pretty good at it. For me, it's completely automated. I don't have to worry about getting a parking space anywhere anymore. If I'm in the car, I don't even have to be driving. There's always a parking space in a very convenient place, close by, right up front, in the shade. Yeah, we get great parking spaces. Now that's completely automated. Now that is an intention that I set a long time ago, and I kept setting that intention, which is why it started to automate. That's what happens. Then you don't have to worry about it anymore. So when I set the intention to get a parking space, I set the intention that I wanted a parking space in a convenient place, close up, didn't want to have to look for a long time. I did not intend which space it had to be. So intending the specific space that it has to be, saying this is the space this is the only space. This is the space that it has to be in order to give me what I want. That's intending the how. I just want a parking space, and I want it to be, how do I want it to be? I want it to be convenient. I want it to be close by. Yeah, I want to find it easily. That's not the how, that's the what. That's what you want. So as we go through our everyday lives, we often have things happen to us that show us what we don't want. Somebody is a little bit rude to you. Somebody steps on your toe. Somebody says something that triggers you, and you feel bad. And then you take a look at that, and you usually figure out, this is what I don't want, so what do I want instead? And then you begin to focus on that. Well, here's a little bit of a more advanced way of doing that. As you've been doing that work, as you've been cleaning up stuff, here's something that you can do that's going to turbocharge how positive and magical your experience becomes, which is don't wait for things to go wrong. Sounds so logical, doesn't it? Don't wait for things to trigger you. All you really have to do is the night before or in the morning, take a few minutes and intend how you want your day to go. If you have a big meeting coming up or even a small meeting coming up, intend for that to go well. How do you want it to feel? What is the thing that you want? What is the outcome that you want? You do not have to hold people responsible for doing very specific things, but you want the outcome. What is it that I want? So that's a little bit of work to do. It's a little bit of extra work to do in the beginning to kind of get that going. But it's also going to put you in the habit of always focusing on what you want, always choosing what you want, even if you haven't yet been triggered by something not going all that well. So you're switching from living in a reactive mode, although you're aware you may still be in reactive mode where you're reacting to things happening to you. Oh, that happened. Okay, that wasn't great. Let me clean that up. Oh, that happened. That was great. Fantastic. Yeah. And going into proactive mode where you're actually spending every day, not all day, just a couple of minutes a day, the day before, the night before, or in the morning, really intending. Or if you're about to head into that meeting, intend. Take the time. It's better to do it at home because sometimes you're going to need a little bit of time to kind of figure out what is it that you actually want, and you don't want to be rushed in doing that. You want to give yourself a few minutes to do that. So I'm going to go to dinner with my family. How do I want that to go? Oh gosh, as I'm thinking about that, Aunt Mary's going to be kind of a bitch, and Uncle Joe, he's so negative all the time. Ooh, is that what I want? No, it is not. What do I want? Oh gosh, I want to feel really good. I want to see us laughing. I want to feel really relaxed. I want it to go really positive. Yeah? I'm going to see my family through the eyes of love for a couple of minutes because that's how I want to experience them. Now, it doesn't take very long, but that intention that you're setting there, of course, getting into the feeling of it while you're doing it. You can't just say the words. You can't half-ass it. Yeah, you got to full-ass it. Bring your entire ass to the story. Yeah, which means get into the feeling of it. Don't just think it. Actually feel it. And if you do that, you're going to notice that your life starts to get a lot smoother because it's all those little moments that determine whether or not you have a really bumpy ride or kind of a smooth ride. The big moments get our attention a lot more, but there's a lot fewer of them. And this is how you can fill every day of your life with magic. Yeah? And what do I mean by magic? Magic, those magic moments are those moments where everything just comes together, where you get to be surprised and positively surprised by the universe and how things are coming together. You're really taking responsibility for your energy now. You're really taking control of your energy and saying, in this direction, in this direction, in this direction. Yeah? Now, that does not mean that you should judge yourself if you have a moment that is not so magical, because things are still going to come up to get your attention and you do want to work with those things. This is what I don't want. What do I want instead? Turn the energy around. But you don't have to wait for things to go wrong. You can actually proactively start shaping your energy and start intending moments of magic, moments of fun, moments of silliness, moments of giddiness, yeah, where you get to have a much more fun time on an everyday basis. So I hope this was helpful for you. I have been Melody Fletcher, and I will see you next week. Ciao.